Yes, welcome to another video. I'm Lewis. Above me is John, and we're here today to talk about the Sterling Saga. And should we sell him? Should we keep him? Should we offer him a new contract? Should we not offer him a new contract? Is he shit? Is he mint? Like, we're going to discuss it and give you our opinions. Before we do, guys, let's set a like target. Let's go for 1,000 likes. And if you've not already subscribed to the channel, make sure you do. Hit the notification bell as well. We're trying to get to 35k. Now, obviously, with Raheem Sterling, obviously there has been a lot of talk on his form this season, and I think maybe like some parts of it last season as well. It's interesting because he's come out and done like a little interview with Times of India, and I'll just go through some of the comments first of all that he's said himself, and then we'll obviously discuss what next for Raheem Sterling. So this is Raheem Sterling saying, "I could be better in a lot of aspects, but a lot of things come into play in a season. A lot of things fans and you guys, the media, do not see. You'll never understand. At the same time, everyone has their opinion on my season. At the end of the season, if you look at, say, even in the last couple of months, with the games that I've missed, I'm still in the top 2 or 3 goal scorers in the team." He goes on to say that he's missed out on some vital games, which is disappointing as a player. But at the same time, he knows he's nowhere near the level he can be. But then he goes on to say again, but at the same time, he's still in the top like numbers for goals and assists and stuff. He goes on to talk about the Champions League. He says, obviously, the manager decides who plays and who doesn't. Sadly, he wasn't one of the players that got picked to play the Champions League. At the end of the day, the team is in the Champions League final. We have a chance of winning it. And then to wrap up, he says, Man City is a club that is looking to build on its history. We're doing that. The Champions League is something we want to win as a club. We're really determined. It's a competition I've set my sight on ever since I came to the club. Now we have the opportunity to do it. The structure at the club never works without a good manager. He's a good manager. He wants to win games, win trophies. Winning one in a season is not good enough. He wants to win another one, and that's the mentality you need. And then when asked to sum up his career at City, in the last 5 years, he says trophies, trophies, trophies. And then he goes on to talk about Sergio Aguero. So, Raheem Sterling. So, let's address the current situation, which is his form this season, yeah?
Yeah.
What's your opinion on it, bro? Like, how would you sum up Raheem Sterling's form? Because obviously a lot of people are saying he's not been at the levels. He himself is saying he's not been at the levels. However, he's still in the top couple of players in terms of numbers, and we've played without a striker as well. So, how would you sort of sum up his season?
Yeah, I think just disappointing, really. I think he's disappointed in it. As fans, we've been disappointed with him, and he knows that. He knows what's coming in all the directions. And I think that's really the word to sum up his season. And he'll be disappointed with it. We're disappointed as fans with it. However, like you say, he's producing the numbers. He's still not the numbers that obviously we're used to Raheem Sterling producing, which is why we're disappointed. That's why there's a bit of a shortfall from it. That's why we're all a bit like, this ain't the Raz that we all know. But as a player, it must be very difficult in that situation. I feel like he's been stuck in limbo a little bit. Kind of like when you try and play a player into form, doesn't work. You take him out for a bit, then put him back in the team, doesn't work. What we've been seeing recently is a more hungry Raheem. Like I agree. He's been very confident recently.
Yep.
I mean, actually taking shots on. He's actually like trying to take his man on all the time and stuff, which you have to take a part and parcel with it. Sometimes it might be like, he's losing the ball all the time, but at least he's trying to make something work, and do you know what I mean? I'm all for that. I love to see that, and the confidence is coming back, which is good. That's the first. I think that's the stepping stones, isn't it? You know what I mean? The baby steps with this, and that's the first. We're getting the running in it. So I think that sense. I feel like the Euros will probably come at a good time for him. I think his England form has been decent. So he should. I think him playing that tournament, it's something refreshing away from City. And then come back at it next season with like a fresh attitude, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's me saying that we've still got a Champions League final to play, and he might have a big part to play in that Champions League final. Yeah. We don't know how it's going to go. We don't know the team that's going to be picked. We don't know who's going to be involved during the game. And if we need to change something, and I don't think Raheem Sterling's going to start. However, if we need to change something, he's one of the players that you'd be looking at to bring on 100%, regardless of his form this season, because he's still getting okay numbers.
Yeah, it's a funny one because I go back to the beginning of the season, right? And I still maintain the fact that I don't think Pep did him any favours by playing him as a striker. Even if you ignore this season, right? You go to the end of last season, if you would have asked most City fans who do you want playing as a striker, most City fans would have put Sterling quite far down on that list, just because he's not great at one-on-one finishing. We've all seen it, you know what I mean? It's not a dig at him, and he probably agrees that he's not the best one-on-one finisher in the squad. I think he's better when he doesn't have to think about stuff and it just comes to him and he can just bang it in and stuff. When it's one-on-one finishing, but because obviously we didn't have a striker at the beginning of the season, he did play a lot of them matches, and so whenever we did have chances, it tended to fall to Sterling. I remember West Ham, we drew 1-1. Sterling had a couple of chances in the last couple of minutes, didn't take them.
Leeds, he had a one-on-one.
Leeds, I remember Burnley. Burnley was the worst, man, because he scored a hat-trick in that game. However, he missed like 7 or 8 other chances, which he well should have scored. And that's not his fault that he's being played out of position. And I think what happened maybe is that hit his confidence because we weren't winning games, he wasn't scoring goals, and then other fans were pointing out the fact that he's getting these chances and not taking them. I don't think that helped. And then, obviously, stuck back on the left wing, out of confidence. And when Sterling plays on the left wing, in my opinion, he has to be in top form and with big confidence, because he's got to take on players and then cut in and shoot and stuff. That's kind of hard. I thoroughly believe, and Mahrez has been a bit of an issue with this, that when Sterling's out of form, he should just be stuck on the right-hand side, because all he has to do, really, is take it past the player on the right, which he will probably do most times because he's so fast, and just cross the ball in. One of the reasons we can't do that is because we've not had a striker, so he's crossing the ball into nobody. And the other reason is Riyad Mahrez has been so good on the right-hand side this year that he can't get in on the right-hand side, so he's been forced to play as a striker, which I don't like, or play on the left wing, which I do like when he's in form and he's got confidence, when he's taking on his play. And to be fair, you said it, last couple of weeks he has been a lot better, like on the left. He's looked more hungry. He's looked like he wanted to take on players. He's not always going to take on players successfully, because defenders can make tackles from time to time, which I do think some fans forget. But I just think it's one of them weird situations just where he struggled to get his form, and he's not been able to get on the right-hand side, which I believe is the place to play Raheem Sterling when he's not in form, because it's easier, because like we just said, we've not got a striker, and Mahrez has been in good form. So
the issue is, though, on the left-hand side, Foden's been absolutely smashing it. So his drop in form has come at a very unfortunate time. That unfortunate job, I mean, for the team, because we have all these players in that, but for him, that Foden's risen up and absolutely smashed it on that left-hand side is very effective. And then Riyad Mahrez on the right-hand side absolutely smashing it. So how does he get in? The only place there left is striker, and we can't play him a striker because of the reasons that you mentioned before, bro. So he's stuck in this weird position of you kind of just have to get better in the training ground and stuff like that, and take your chances when you do. But then you look at the way our chances are coming from and stuff, and it's difficult. It's
I would
really
also
difficult.
say, bro, I think not having a striker has probably impacted Raheem Sterling more than any other player in the team, because, you know, Riyad Mahrez can get the ball on the right-hand side, and if there's no one in there, he can just cut in and have a shot and do whatever, you know what I mean? Because he's got a mint shot on him. Raheem Sterling hasn't got the natural finish, and it's kind of weird, because if you look at his stats and his numbers over the last couple of years, his numbers are a joke. Like, he does score a lot of goals, but, you know, I remember Sterling himself saying about Sane, saying if I had a shot like Sane, I'd be shooting all the time. So that's another problem for Sterling. You know, he's not a natural shooter. He can cut in on the right, off the left and shoot, but I think he's more tricky than that. I think the guy's got like insane like take on ability, and he wants to take it past players, and then he wants someone to be on the box to get on the end of his crosses. And guess what? We played with a false 9 all season, so there's generally no one in the box. The amount of times we've screamed that there's no one in there.
Yeah.
I mean, we have had obviously Gundogan getting in the box, but it's not the same. He wants someone to look at and say, I'm gonna cross the ball to you, and he's not really had that. So maybe with the arrival of Harry Kane, if we get him or Haaland or whoever it is, that might help him. The question now is, what do we do with Raheem Sterling? He's got 2 years left on his contract, so you're going to have to do something. You can't let him run the contract down, because then you're going to lose a top player who's worth a lot of money, and he's going to go for cheap, you know what I mean, like Sane did. So, do you sell him now? Do you offer him a new contract? Like, well, you know, what you're saying, eh? For me, I don't believe that this season he's been as bad as everyone's saying. I totally agree with what Raheem Sterling said in his interview with Times of India, or whatever it was. He's not been at the top form, and I think he understands that. He said it himself, and I think most City fans would accept that. However, he's still quite high up there, and again, he's not even played that many minutes. I think, what did you say before, bro? We were talking before we started the record. He's played like, what, 29 games or 24 games. He's got 18 goals and assists or something like that. So
10 goals, 8 assists. He's played 30 games, I think it is.
Yeah, so that's not the worst thing in the world. So, and obviously, what he's offered us in the past, I think he's got credit in the bank. So for me, I think that we shouldn't be selling him. I think that's I would not sell him at all. I'd offer a new deal. You know what I mean? But I'd say to him, look, at the end of the day, it's on you to get yourself back in this team. And I think he's not a stupid guy, innit? He knows that. Like, we We want you to become good, but we're not begging you to become good because we have Phil Foden who can play left wing, and maybe we'll sign another winger in the summer, who knows, and Riyad Mahrez on the right. So it's up to you to get to that form and get your form back. We want you to get there. However, if you don't, you will just find yourself on the bench playing bit part games like he is this summer. I don't want that. I want him to be fighting for the first team position, because when he's on form, and he's one of the best wingers in world football, his stats don't lie. So mad. I hope he stays personally, because I really like him. I think he's a mint footballer when he's on form. I think he's a nice guy as well. You know what I mean? He comes across as like a nice guy, which I like as well.
He's also part of the captain team in City, so he obviously has a big part in the dressing room and stuff. And I feel like fans need to be a bit patient with this guy. Like, yes, he's had an off season, but players can have off seasons. You know what I mean? To be consistent every season forever in your life, it's just one thing that, you know what I mean, you see from like Ronaldo and Messi and stuff, but a lot of players have off seasons, and Raheem Sterling's just had one of them. And I think, like you said it perfectly, bro. In my eyes, and obviously in your eyes, he's got the credit in the bank to have this off season, and I feel like you need to be patient with him. Don't just like write him off now and say get rid of him this summer. He's done out here, because then I feel like you won't know what is it when you loved until you lost it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like he'll get off and do bits, and you'll be like, wow, we could have done with Raheem in this team, because he still has it. It is there. But it's just finding his form back and getting his feet. So, do you know what I mean? I'm more than willing to give this guy time.
Yeah, I agree. I think we should give him another season, and I'm sure next year he'll come back and smash it. I think if we get a striker, I honestly believe it'll help him a lot. I really, really do. Yeah. I don't want to sell him. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Try and be out objective, guys. Yeah, he's not had the best season. He knows that. He said that himself. But are we going to become a club where if a guy has a dodgy season, then we're going to sell him? If Kevin De Bruyne not have the best season next season, we're going to tell him we're going to sell him? You know, are we going to become that type of team? I think we should give him some time. He's still a young lad. And yeah, he's proved it before in previous seasons that he can get ridiculous numbers. Guys, let us know what you think in the comment section below. Smash a like on the video if you do enjoy it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We'll see you in the next one.